easy, funny way out stat is you just tell them, yo, you could fart around me. We ain't that serious.
Oh shit, man.
See, yo, y'all are wired different. Y'all are wired completely different. Y'all got that. I'm so good off that.
Yo, I swear to God, I ain't hear that one, Murder. You kept that for yourself.
That's what I used to tell them. You can fart around me. We ain't that serious at all.
My nigga.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents because y'all are like, yeah, and I'm like, no, like I completely.
We're not in a generation where somebody says, yo, you want to be my girlfriend or you my boyfriend? You just end up in relationships. It ain't like, back in the days, like you.
I'll let you.
Well, maybe that's back. Maybe it's back.
Yeah, maybe they brought it back.
Maybe they brought it back because I remember before when I was young, like my mother in them age, they used to be like, you want to go steady? Like, it was so steady.
Yeah, are we serious?
Yeah, we getting serious. This, that, and the third. So the same way I was just telling you how the girl was like, I wasn't messing with nobody else. I didn't know that because we didn't have that conversation. So I'm just saying, I don't want to get stat. You could tell me what's going on today. But to me, it wasn't like, yo, in high school, yeah, absolutely. Yo, you my girl, yo, that's my girl, that's my shorty, this, that. Maybe because me and Mace would start doing music, we never, I can't speak for him. I never really had to, yo, you my girl, you gonna be my girl. This, that, that. I started fucking with you, I started fucking with you. Now, the way the girl proceeded in her brain that we were together was if I went raw. She like, yo, you go raw, we together. But she tell you that after you go raw. She don't tell you this before you go raw. That's how they say, you gonna go raw on me and we not together. Now, the real way relationships starts are like this, and I'm giving information for everybody who don't know. The way the real relationship starts is like this. When y'all just being cool and dating and everything else, and then they ask you, yo, why you wasn't picking your phone up? And you get scared. You be like, no, I was out. I was with the club. Oh no, I was there.
Yeah, together.
I called you. Yo, I called you 6 times. Why you didn't pick up the phone? You must have been with another bitch. No, I wasn't with no bitch. Yo, ask my mother. Yo, now you in a relationship. You don't even know you in a relationship because you answering. You just got scared and panicked. Bitch, do that shit to me. Yo, Ken, you wasn't picking the phone up. Where you was at? I said, bitch, you're crazy. What you did yesterday? I just ignored the whole shit because I'm not feeding it. I'm not feeding. Once you answer that, they got you. They got you. Once you sit there and answer because you scared, you panic, you're not even thinking that you panic. Then what happened is you do it to them and they want you to do it to them. Yo, fuck is you at? Give me your phone. Yo, you was with niggas last night? Yo, that nigga crazy. He love me. Yo, now you in a relationship. You don't even know it.
Yeah,
that's how it starts.
You're serious at that point.
At that point now, you're serious. Because now she questioned you, and because she questioned you, you feel you could question her, and now y'all together. That's how it go.
That's how you do it, right?
Yeah,
Psycho man.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, no, I like that one. Yo. It's like me.
That's how you got your relationship?
Yeah, man, playing.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, like, what does this turn to love therapy? Like, that's all shit. I like how you broke that one down, yo. You know what I mean? That little panic mode.
You start panicking.
Yeah. And your way out, easy, funny way out stat is you just tell them, yo, you could fart around me. We ain't that serious.
Oh shit, man.
See, yo, y'all are wired different. Y'all are wired completely different. Y'all got that. I'm so good on that.
Yo, I swear to God, I ain't hear that one, Murder. You kept that for yourself.
That's what I used to tell him. You can fart around me. We ain't that serious at all.
My nigga.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents because y'all are like, yeah, and I'm like, no, like I completely disagree with y'all. I think that it's like 50-50. Like, there's half of women who are like, we know what it is, and then there's half of the women who are like, tell me what it is. I think in different situations, in different careers and occupations, that's where that matters, because what you explained to me is stressful. I don't want to walk around having to figure out like, are we not, that type of thing. No, because listen and hear me out. A lot of women, and this is coming from past experiences, friends that I know that are dating in the game, whatever you want to call it. A lot of the times they're not explicitly asking or having the expectation of asking, is this my man? Because they know that if they ask, that man's finna leave because he doesn't want to make that commitment. That's half the women. The other half of the women, me, I like to be told, okay? I like to know what it is. I don't need let's just figure it out over time. And that's just too much room for error, too much room for trouble, problems, other women. I don't got time for that. I think women nowadays should be asked, and it's okay to want to be asked. Now, if you're cool at the other end where you're just like, we just spend all this time together, we seeing each other all the time, we doing this, we doing that, we know what it is, that's cool.
You gonna get curved. That's that young shit.
No, it's not, because I know.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You talk about that's young, but like, that's what I'm seeing a lot of. All of my friends that are in relationships too have been asked, and that works for some people.
A nigga asked them, like, we in a relationship?
Like, you would ask, will you be my girlfriend?
Nah.
Yes, that's like.
No, I don't know no bro
you're
nigga.
saying young, but that's like traditional.
No, traditional is
because
we hang out, we fucking and all that shit. You start screaming at me.
No, it's not.
You my
no,
bitch. What, like kids said,
not.
once you start panicking,
no,
I gotta come home to you.
No,
like,
see, that's stressful. That is so stressful, and it's not worth it. Like, even like, I'm the type of person that still believes, even for Valentine's, like, I think you should ask somebody to be your Valentine's. I don't think that you should just be like, we're Valentine's.
What
like, I think you should ask. What? I'm clearly not from New York. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
Nobody got time to be, you my Valentine's. Fuck, you want to bring a heart?
How you don't got time if you're spending time with that person all the time? You have time to ask a simple question.
Like, I don't know.
That's
easy. You just get your back scratcher and go to sleep. You can do that with anybody.
The thing about it is that what you're saying is correct. You're absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. You should ask if you want to know, but you ain't.
If you want to know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of times you ain't gonna hear the answer.
That's what I'm saying though. Yeah. Like, I'm not like dumb, because also I know it's like, let me not ask, because the moment I ask, shit gonna start changing up. My flights ain't gonna get booked.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something else, right? No, that's a fact. Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you. No, it's right. Like, I'll tell you another story, Murder. Real quick, it's that. So this chick, I'm going to see her every night. Probably for a month and a half straight. And then she called me and say, what time you coming home? I'm not going back no more. It's not my home.
You asked the wrong question. Yeah. Don't put me under the gun like
that. Yeah. You say the wrong thing. You got
flipped.
Yeah, yo.
Cut.
When am I coming home?
Yeah. Never worry.
I'll show you better than I tell you.
Yeah, that's my Once you say that, I'm going to my real house because you think I live here. I know I've been here 62 days straight. I know. But don't ever ask me when I'm coming home, because we having fun. But Stat, I totally agree with you. I think if you want to have clarity and not blur lines, absolutely, you got to ask. But you have to realize also Stat, And not saying you have, first of all, you have great parents, you raised well, your morals are great, everything else. On top of that, you're a beautiful, black, smart girl.
Thanks.
And not only that, you're somebody as a celebrity. You could tell niggas to tell you it is what it is. A random chick can't just be telling the nigga to be telling them, yo, what's it gonna be? Not you.
Cause she lying.
Yeah.
So she got that sugar daddy on the side. Like somebody was here paying these bills before I came. Like, okay, bought you something.
But see, that's why I'm like,
No, I'm saying like
everybody's
what I'm
lying.
trying to say is this. I'm not saying you would, not to cut you off, I want you to chime in too, Murder. Not to cut you off. I'm not saying you would go for a stat, but you got leverage, nigga. Like, I don't want to fuck up with stat.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Murder, guy, you was going to say something. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, I was saying once she already went, there's like the ball is no longer in her court. That's the real thing. So I don't think she got leverage at that point.
What point are you talking about? What part of the karma?
Like once you like you already having fun with her, now she can't put her foot down after her feet weren't down. You know what I'm saying? When you put your foot down, it gotta be from the beginning. If you're just having fun, then when you try to switch up, it switches the fun. If you're having fun.
I'm going over what Kim said too. Like, you a celebrity, a nigga ain't gonna fuck up. He gonna eat that pussy all day. He gonna crawl.
No, they mess up with celebrities too now. It don't matter.
The bump niggas get the celebrity bitches, I'm telling you.
I just think that you have to lay down the expectations of what you want, depending on the type of person that you are. If it works, it works. It doesn't. Because I also understand where y'all are coming from, because you guys are saying, I don't want somebody calling me, asking me where I'm at, because you didn't sign up for those expectations from the jump. But I just think just be clear
That's what I'm saying.
about what you want.
But that's why, like, everybody's making great points up here. That's why this conversation's going a little long. I think it's great at what everybody said. But you have to realize this too. We're just, God bless all of us in this room for being in the situation we are. If I'm fucked up with no job and bitch say get home, I gotta get home.
Yeah.
You better.
Before you.
When I got kicked out of college, it was rough, man. That in between my record deal and getting kicked out of college, you know how many times I had to sleep in a bitch house and I didn't want to be there? Like, God damn, man. I always had, don't get it wrong, I lived with my grandmother, but I couldn't, I was horny. I couldn't do what I wanted to do over there. You know what I'm saying? And when Blood Parents was going, then we was good. You know what I'm saying? But it's been plenty of nights I've been told, get in here before I go to sleep.
Boy toy.
Yeah, but the celebrity girl too, she could be a psychopath and very controlling too. Like you could go out to dinner, she might tell you, yo,
listen, man.
Why you eating with your hand?
Listen, Halle Berry can't keep a nigga.
Yeah, close your mouth while you're chewing. And
yeah, like I like to dig my hand in the chicken wings. Like, you telling me take the knife at the tuck. No.
Yeah, I know. We go out to restaurant. She'll get mad when that girl asks for that hot water to slip her silverware. Yeah, like, he don't like that shit.
Yeah, no fucking hot water in the bitch, you don't eat that chicken wing.
Your hands is crazy. Like, I would be like,
see, that's what I'm talking about. You ain't gonna tell me I can't grab a wing. Like,
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I'm eating right in front of you.
We gonna be there together the next time. Like, that will change. But
see, that's what I'm trying to say. See, some niggas can't deal with that shit. Like, well, get your ass up out of here, then. Because you gonna call me. Because you gonna think about it. This nigga really ate them fucking wings and it ain't calling me. I'm not chasing you, like, bro.
Your goal is to make a lasting impression. Everybody got different impressions. I don't know. If you like that, maybe love it. Love that for you.
I be myself. Like I said, like, some girls that take advantage of them situation, like, yo, tuck your shirt in. No, bitch, no, not tucking my shirt in, like at all. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Tuck your shirt in? She told you to tuck your shirt
in? No, nobody took what I'm trying to say.
Examples.
Yeah, examples. Like, it's so psycho. It's so... I'm telling you, them little celebrity ones be them cokeheads. They be acting crazy sometimes.
Tucking your shirt in is so psycho. So crazy. You eat with your hands. Okay, you see how
So Nick can't eat with them hands at dinner?
that'd be crazy. Like, and I get the ick. Like, I'm looking at you.
Hold on,
crazy.
so you tell me Nick can't grab a little son?
If we have a private dinner space and you're not
nah.
around
See, that's what I'm
people. No, because I'm gonna be looking at you like, why you eating? And you didn't even wash your hands. I bet beforehand.
So you eat the lamb chop, you can't grab it by the lamb. You want me to do all this?
You can cut it.
That's why they got the bone right there.
If you wash your hands, this could be
Yeah,
disgusting.
you know what's funny? I'll just tell you one last story. Y'all can finish arguing. So I eat my lamb chops with my motherfucking hands. Once I get down to, I cut it with the knife, but once again, I can't get that knife. I picked that joint out. I remember we was in a restaurant in Hanks, actually. And I was trying to be, first time I went there, I was trying to get every piece. Niggas, the waiter said, pick that shit up. I said, all right. I said, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's what I've been waiting to hear anyway. So I eat my lamb chops, whatever. So I'm with a girl. And this girl, so we get back to the crib, and this girl's kind of acting bougie with Suge, but she was with me. This wasn't Hanks, this was another restaurant. And she acting bougie with me. I mean, pardon me, with Suge.
Yeah.
And so they get
wash your hands.
No, I ain't talking about that. So I'm like I said, we just finished eating. So when we get back to the house, her and Suge get into an argument. Now, mind you, Suge, on the way home, Suge is, that's what she said, tell Suge, wash your hands. Yeah, that's matter of fact, now I'm remembering. Yeah. Clean this, that, third. So Suge like, wash my hands. Now on the way back home driving, Suge is driving, I'm in the back seat making out with her. And I'm finger popping her. And she squirt all over Suge in the front seat. And everything from the back seat. Sorry if this TMI, there's too much information, but I'm getting to a point. So then when she get to the crib and tell Suge, wash your hands and all that, he said, you just had lamb chops in your pussy. You didn't care about the nigga washing his hands.
Yeah, you worry about my head. Nigga just fucking lamb chopped your pussy. All I just want, yeah, you got all types of lamb chop juice all in your shit. Right? Yeah. Fucking A1 sauce all in that shit. Fucking that chirrut shit hit my arm, I'm driving. You want me to wash my hands? You don't take your fucking lamb chop pussy finger. That's what I'm trying to say, brother. Bitches don't know. Now, if she was cool, not acting bougie, the lamb chop finger would be cool, like.
Lamb chop finger.
My bad, I didn't want to get too graphic, but that shit was funny, man.
Had to get to a point. Next episode, I need the New York version definition of bougie, because y'all use it a lot in different ways, and we'll circle back, because we seen this was an extended conversation. We all had a lot to say, so we'll continue.
Everybody made good points.
Yeah, we'll continue it at some point.
I think Mace one with you could fart around me. I'm going to tuck that.
Nobody seems to ask anymore. That is probably the first thing you notice once you really start paying attention to how relationships form in this generation. There is no clear moment, no dramatic scene, no guy dropping to one knee over lunch and officially asking you to be his girlfriend, no little classroom note with 2 boxes waiting for you to choose. It either develops naturally or it never does, and suddenly you can spend 3 months seeing the same person almost every day while still wondering whether they actually consider you their partner or whether you're simply a recurring character in their life. That is the bizarre, silent epidemic running through modern dating. It is not heartbreak, and it is not even ghosting, although both are obviously real. The bigger problem is ambiguity. Millions of people today are involved in something that looks like a relationship, feels exactly like one, operates like one, but has somehow never been officially defined. And here is the part that is genuinely surprising. Plenty of people have learned to accept that uncertainty as normal. They have convinced themselves that saying the question out loud is somehow riskier than remaining lost in the gray area indefinitely. So let's actually examine it. Let's break down how relationships are forming today, why an entire generation seems to have quietly abandoned the question of what are we, what that uncertainty can do psychologically, and why beneath all the confident we don't need labels talk, there are countless people who are quietly worn out. Start with the most obvious change. Travel back 2 or 3 decades and dating came with rituals. They were never flawless, and not everyone followed them perfectly, but those rituals existed. There was a basic script. You liked someone, you figured out a way to let them know, either directly or through somebody else. Then eventually came the conversation, awkward or embarrassing as it might have been, where both people openly acknowledged that they were officially together. It had a name, whether people called it going steady, talking, official, or something else entirely. Whatever the generation called it, there was still a verbal understanding, almost like an agreement between two people, saying that whatever existed between them now came with certain boundaries and expectations. That tradition did not vanish simply because people became less willing to make an effort. It faded because the entire system surrounding how people meet, communicate, and spend time together changed beneath it. When calling someone's home meant risking their parent answering, when seeing someone required actual planning because there was no instant alternative, every interaction carried more significance. It required time, courage, and vulnerability. Today, almost all of that friction has disappeared. You can communicate with someone non-stop without ever physically sharing the same space. You can create the illusion of deep closeness through a phone screen without ever discovering whether that connection survives outside the digital world. The obstacles that once pushed people toward clarity have largely been removed, and somehow the clarity disappeared right along with them. Here is the part of the mechanism that really matters, because this did not happen by accident. Once you break it apart, the logic is actually pretty simple. When effort requires something from you, people tend to seek confirmation before investing even more. If contacting somebody takes genuine effort, you naturally want to know that the connection is worth pursuing before continuing to pour yourself into it. But when communication costs almost nothing, when sending a message takes 2 seconds and requires virtually no sacrifice, there is far less pressure to stop and ask where the relationship actually stands, because continuing the conversation costs you practically nothing. You can remain suspended in an undefined situation for months without ever feeling an immediate consequence for the uncertainty, because the basic mechanics of staying connected no longer require commitment. And that is the trap. Cheap, effortless communication removes much of the motivation to define the relationship, and when nobody feels pressured to define it, the connection simply keeps growing on its own. It accumulates layer after layer, even though neither person ever consciously agreed to build something serious. First, you text every day. Then you're texting daily and meeting twice a week. Then you're communicating constantly, seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week, meeting some of each other's friends, and maybe even spending nights together. Yet somehow, through that entire progression, neither person ever actually says, "We're dating now." The relationship is being constructed through momentum rather than an intentional decision. And momentum is a strange foundation for intimacy, because momentum can carry you somewhere without ever requiring you to consciously choose the destination. You can be swept deeper into something simply because it keeps moving forward, without ever stopping to decide whether it is actually what you want. That helps explain why so many people say they feel confused about their own relationships. They are not necessarily confused about the other person. They are confused about themselves. They genuinely cannot tell whether they chose the situation or whether the situation simply happened around them. Now, this is where things get even more interesting, because there's a psychological principle underneath all of this that helps explain why people avoid the defining conversation, even when deep down they desperately want an answer. It is known as loss aversion. In simple terms, humans tend to experience the pain of losing something as considerably stronger than the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. So imagine you are in an undefined relationship that feels good, maybe 70% good, maybe even just comfortable enough to keep you satisfied, because asking for a label suddenly puts that entire 70% on the line, and the other person could reject the idea. Or even worse, they could avoid giving you an answer, become distant, slowly disappear over the next few weeks, and leave you trapped in that miserable half-ghost situation where you cannot even identify the exact moment things ended. So your brain quietly performs a risk calculation and essentially tells you, don't ask, protect the 70% you already have. Don't gamble on the possibility of reaching 100, because dropping from 70 to 0 feels far more painful than moving from 70 to 100 feels rewarding. That is not necessarily a weakness. It does not automatically mean someone is emotionally immature or secretly incapable of commitment because of some personal defect. It is a fundamental and well-established feature of human decision-making, and modern dating culture has unintentionally created an entire environment where that psychological tendency can thrive. But there is something important that often gets ignored. Staying inside uncertainty has a price as well. It is simply a slower and much quieter kind of pain. It is not the immediate sting of rejection. Instead, it is the constant background anxiety created by never being completely certain about where you stand. Psychologists have a concept from behavioral science that fits this situation especially well: intermittent reinforcement. It is essentially the same unpredictable reward system that helps make slot machines so difficult to walk away from. When the reward arrives at random intervals, maybe he responds immediately, maybe he disappears for 6 hours, maybe she wants to spend every day with you, and then suddenly she is unavailable for an entire weekend. Your brain can actually become more focused on that person rather than less. Uncertainty does not necessarily destroy attraction, and in the beginning, it can make the attraction feel even stronger. That is why so many people find themselves more fixated, more nervous, and more compulsively checking their phones for someone who has never clearly defined the relationship than they would for somebody who has already made their intentions obvious. And that is the brutal irony at the heart of modern dating. The same uncertainty that can feel thrilling during those first few weeks can become completely draining once several months have passed. What begins as excitement and butterflies can slowly transform into a constant, low-level stress response. Your nervous system never gets the signal that it is safe to completely relax around this person, so part of you stays on alert, searching for clues, analyzing delayed replies, and trying to decode what a particular tone or wording in a text message supposedly means. That is not intimacy. That is mental workload. And somehow, an entire generation has started treating that workload as though it is simply the unavoidable price of dating today. There is also a very noticeable gender-related pattern in the way people experience this uncertainty, and it is worth examining honestly without turning the conversation into another pointless war between men and women, because the reality is far more complicated than either side usually wants to admit. Broadly speaking, relationship research repeatedly finds that women are more likely to want clear answers earlier, not because they are somehow incapable of being patient, but because historically, uncertainty has often carried greater consequences for women. Time does not carry exactly the same meaning for everyone in dating. A woman who spends 2 years inside an undefined situationship can often be viewed, fairly or unfairly, as having spent those years waiting in a culture that still places more pressure on certain major life milestones for women than it does for men. Men, meanwhile, more often say they prefer allowing relationships to develop naturally. Part of that may be because ambiguity traditionally carries fewer social and biological consequences for men. Another part is that asking for a label can feel like surrendering leverage, almost as if putting a name on the relationship gives the other person the ability to hold you accountable for what you both agreed to. Neither reaction is automatically wrong. Both can make sense when people are navigating a dating system where the risks of uncertainty are not distributed equally. But put two people with those opposite strategies into the same relationship, and you get exactly the kind of stalemate we see everywhere today. Both people wait for the other person to make the first move. Neither wants to be the one who cracks first, because in modern dating culture, showing that you care first has somehow been turned into a sign of weakness. And that leads to something we really need to examine. At some point, wanting a clear answer got relabeled as being clingy. Asking, "What are we?" became a joke instead of being recognized as a completely reasonable question. Think about how strange that really is. In practically every other serious part of adult life, people constantly ask for clarification. You ask your employer whether a position is permanent or contract-based. You ask your landlord whether the lease runs month to month or for an entire year. Nobody hears those questions and immediately calls you desperate. Nobody tells you to just vibe with the lease and see what happens. In almost every other major commitment adults make, clarity is considered basic due diligence, yet somehow the one area involving your emotions, your time, your exclusivity, and sometimes even your physical well-being has turned clarity into evidence of insecurity. Some of this comes from a cultural overcorrection, and honestly, that pushback was necessary. Originally had a legitimate reason. The old expectation that people should immediately lock something down, become exclusive after only a few dates, and rush toward a label before genuinely knowing each other was rigid and often unhealthy. Wanting time to understand somebody before defining the relationship is not a bad instinct at all. The problem is that the pendulum swung so aggressively in the opposite direction that taking your time eventually became an excuse for never making a decision. An entire generation absorbed the idea that wanting any kind of definition was somehow immature. But wanting clarity and wanting to rush are two completely different things. You can move slowly while still eventually having the conversation. Now let's get into the moment when many of these undefined relationships actually become official, because surprisingly, it is rarely because two people simply sit down and talk about it. More often, jealousy does the job first. Somebody suddenly becomes noticeably quiet after learning the other person was somewhere unexpected. Someone asks a strangely specific question about who the other person was with. And right there, in that little burst of panic, when nobody wants to appear suspicious or guilty, people start explaining themselves. The moment you begin explaining your whereabouts to someone, you are already operating inside relationship territory, whether either person has actually used the word or not. Accountability is the relationship. The label is often just the paperwork that may or may not arrive afterward. And if you really think about that, it is a fascinating psychological loophole. People will avoid the vulnerability of saying, "I want us to be exclusive," yet they will willingly experience the vulnerability of jealousy, ask where the other person was, or feel a sudden wave of hurt after seeing something on their phone. Jealousy becomes the unofficial definition. Commitment gets introduced through an emotional reaction instead of being established through a mutual decision. And when commitment enters through that side door, it is usually much shakier because nobody actually agreed to the rules. The boundaries were simply discovered in the middle of a moment neither person completely controlled. That is why relationships built through momentum, jealousy, and gradual accumulation, instead of an intentional conversation, can sometimes be more fragile than relationships that begin with an honest discussion. It is not necessarily because the people care less, but because nobody ever tested the foundation under pressure. Nobody sat down and said, "This is what I want, this is what I need, this is what exclusivity means to me, is that what you want too?" Instead, two people quietly created a shared assumption and started hoping their private interpretations happened to match. And assumptions are exactly where things can fall apart. One person believes exclusivity means absolutely nobody else, period. The other believes it means being the primary person while still leaving some room until the relationship becomes official. One person thinks introducing someone to friends signals serious commitment. The other simply enjoyed having them around and never attached the same significance to it. None of those differences usually surface until there is already a conflict, and by that point, both people can be genuinely stunned to discover that the relationship they thought they were building was completely different in the other person's mind. That moment of shock, that feeling of, wait, I thought we both understood what this was, is often the clearest sign that the relationship skipped the definition stage altogether. So what actually makes more sense here? Because identifying the problem is easy, figuring out what people should do differently is where the real conversation begins. The honest answer is that clarity, sooner rather than later, usually protects people even when the answer is not the one they hoped to hear. If you ask early and someone
says, "I'm not looking for anything serious," that answer can hurt, but it can also save you from spending another 6 months investing in someone who was never prepared to meet you at the same level. A clear rejection today is almost always easier to recover from than a vague, drawn-out connection that eventually falls apart because two people were carrying completely different expectations. There is also something incredibly powerful about simply communicating what you want without demanding that the other person immediately want the exact same thing. You do not have to approach the conversation with, "Are we together?" like you are issuing an ultimatum. You can simply say, "I want to be honest. I'm developing genuine feelings here, and I'd like to understand where your head is at." Then you can let that statement stand on its own, without hiding behind humor, without apologizing for having feelings, and without putting emotional armor around the question. That kind of direct honesty can be surprisingly powerful, precisely because it has become so uncommon. Most people spend so much time dancing around the subject that a calm, straightforward explanation of what you actually want can sometimes produce a much more honest answer in return. And there is another distinction that needs to be made very clearly. Wanting clarity is not the same thing as wanting control. Some people hear the phrase, "define the relationship," and immediately imagine one person trying to trap the other, limit their freedom, dictate their schedule, or claim ownership over their time. That is a completely separate issue, and it is not what healthy clarity means. Healthy clarity is not about controlling another person's choices. It is about understanding what you are actually agreeing to, so you can make an informed decision about whether you want to continue investing your time, emotions, and energy into it. That is not control. That is basic self-respect. You have every right to understand what you are participating in. There is another layer to this entire conversation that deserves attention. Social media has completely changed how this generation watches other people's relationships unfold, and that constant exposure has quietly influenced how people think commitment is supposed to work. When you're endlessly seeing everyone else's highlight reels, those carefully selected snapshots of relationships that appear effortless, romantic, and completely perfect, it creates a strange form of comparison anxiety. People start believing that asking for clarity, admitting they are unsure, or having an awkward conversation about where things are headed somehow means their own relationship is less exciting or less successful than everybody else's seems to be. Nobody uploads the nervous conversation where they finally ask someone to become exclusive. They upload the anniversary vacation, the surprise proposal, and the perfect couple photos. So the actual work required to create clarity becomes invisible, while the polished final product becomes the standard everyone compares themselves against. And that completely distorts what people believe a normal relationship is even supposed to look like. The reality is much less glamorous, but also much more reassuring. Every genuinely strong relationship, regardless of how effortless it appears from the outside, has almost certainly involved at least one uncomfortable conversation somewhere along the way. Nobody magically skips that part. The couples who seem the most secure often simply had those conversations earlier and more honestly than everyone else, which is exactly why they appear so stable, because they were not building their relationship around guesses and assumptions.
But we also need to look at the opposite extreme, because not everyone has a problem with avoiding clarity. Some people genuinely want to take things slowly, without immediately putting a label on what they are building. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that approach if both people genuinely agree that this is how they want to proceed. Things to develop. The real problem was never ambiguity by itself. Ambiguity can actually be healthy when two people consciously choose it together and use that time to understand each other without unnecessary pressure. The danger comes from silent and unequal ambiguity, where one person privately believes this is casual, while the other privately believes something serious is developing, and neither person ever says what they actually think. At that point, both people are functioning under the illusion that they reached an agreement, when in reality, no agreement was ever made. And that is probably the biggest takeaway underneath this entire discussion. It is not that undefined relationships are automatically bad, while defined relationships are automatically good. The real danger is a relationship that has never been discussed, regardless of what label eventually gets attached to it. The problem was never simply the missing title. The problem was the missing conversation. Two people could happily spend years saying they are just seeing each other if both understand that arrangement and have consciously chosen it together. On the other hand, two people can officially call themselves a couple and still fall apart quickly if they never discuss what exclusivity, effort, loyalty, or commitment actually mean to each of them. The label itself is not the protection, the conversation is. The label is simply the word people use afterward to describe what they already agreed upon. So if there is one practical lesson buried inside everything we've discussed, it is not that everyone should demand a label immediately, and it is not that people should completely ignore labels and simply let everything happen without asking questions. The answer is actually much simpler. Say what is true sooner than feels comfortable. Then let the other person's actual response, not their silence, not their energy, not your interpretation of their behavior, but their own words, tell you what you need to understand. Silence and vagueness are responses, too. They are simply slower, quieter, and far more expensive responses, because instead of costing you a few uncomfortable minutes, they can cost you months of your life. Because when everything is stripped down, the thing that truly protects people is not complicated. It is not some dating trick, secret strategy, or power move designed to give you leverage. It is simply having the courage to be honest a little earlier than your instincts tell you to be, with someone who deserves to understand what they are actually building with you, and who deserves the opportunity to give you that same honesty in return. And if this conversation gave you something to think about, let me know in the comments where you stand on it. Do you think people should start asking for clarity sooner, or is it better to let relationships develop naturally without putting pressure on them with a label? I genuinely want to hear how you see it.